Welcome to Canadian Express. I'm your host, and we're diving straight into some truly eye-opening revelations about the current state of Canada. We've got compelling new poll data to break down, alongside a revealing clip from Parliament's question period. Before we jump in, please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps us grow and reach more Canadians who care about these critical issues. Let's start with a stark statement from Polling Canada. Canada is in decline. While that might seem like an obvious sentiment to many, the numbers behind it are quite striking. A significant 56% of Canadians agree with this statement, while 25% remain neutral. Crucially, a mere 19% disagree, meaning less than 1 in 5 Canadians believe the country is doing well. The overwhelming majority either feel we're on a downward trajectory or are, at best, ambivalent. This poll presents a fascinating paradox. If a majority of Canadians believe the country is in decline, and this decline has, by many accounts, been a trend over the past decade under Liberal governance, then why did a substantial number of these same pessimistic voters choose to support the Liberal Party in the last election? The thought process seems to be, Canada is in decline, and the Liberals have been in power. Who should we vote for? I know. Let's vote for the Liberal Party again because Mark Carney is different. This logic hinges on the belief that Mark Carney, despite leading the same party, represents a radical departure from the previous administration. It assumes that the individual at the helm can truly steer the party in a fundamentally new direction, rather than being beholden to its entrenched ideology and existing structures. While some may genuinely hold this belief, it's worth noting that Mark Carney has been Prime Minister since March, and for many, significant change has yet to materialise. I found a snippet of information from a Substack, which frustratingly then asks for payment to read further. However, the accessible part states, new polling suggests Canadians are pessimistic about the state of the nation, with many viewing the country as being in decline. How might Canada reverse this trend? One possible solution, according to many Canadians, is to take the nation back from the rich and powerful. The irony here is almost comical if it weren't so serious. A segment of the population expressing a desire to reclaim the country from the rich and powerful, presumably referring to figures in big banking and those who might not be entirely transparent with their assets, then proceeded to vote for a globalist banker, someone who is, by definition, rich and connected. Furthermore, he is an older white man, a demographic often targeted by certain factions of the left. Yet, the narrative, perhaps, was that this globalist banker would somehow act against the very class he represents. It truly is unbelievable to witness this cognitive dissonance. I find it both humorous and tragic, and while I agree that Canada is in decline, I firmly believe we chose the wrong leader to guide us out of it. Though I must admit, I couldn't say that with a straight face. Perhaps Mark Carney will pull off a miracle and prove me wrong. I have been mistaken before. Now let's turn our attention to something truly egregious. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, was recently seen apparently laughing about the fact that ministers he promoted seemingly oversaw the waste of $64 million on the ArriveCan scam. The implication is that he believes the recent election somehow wipes their record clean. This blatant disregard for accountability sparked a heated exchange in Parliament, particularly with Conservative MP Mark Strahl, whose passion on the matter was palpable. During question period, MP Strahl directly confronted the government, stating, "The Auditor General confirmed what we've been saying about the fraudsters behind the ArriveCan app and the failure of this Liberal government to protect taxpayers. GC Strategies was an IT firm that didn't follow procurement rules, didn't provide value for money, didn't have valid security clearances. What they do have is $64 million in ill-gotten tax dollars in the bank, and this Liberal government let it all happen. When so many Canadians are struggling to make ends meet, Why is this government making no effort to get those wasted tax dollars back? Carney's response was nothing short of astonishing. He pivoted, saying, "Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to follow details, including important details such as there was just an election. Canada's new government was elected to focus on getting best value for Canadian taxpayer dollars and building the strongest economy in the G7. This response is utterly ridiculous. Canadians did not vote for a government that would gloss over past failures by simply declaring a fresh start. Carney's victory was arguably fueled by fear-mongering. Trump this, Trump that, 51st state will never bend the knee to Trump, but Pierre will. Yet, as soon as Carney won, he went to meet Trump, was photographed smiling and giving thumbs up, all while Trump was reportedly insulting one of his top ministers, Christian Freeland. That, coupled with media support and fear-mongering, is how he secured his victory. MP Strahl continued his powerful indictment. They're not holding GC strategies accountable. They're letting them keep the cash. The Auditor General confirmed that current Liberal ministers failed Canadians in this matter. They failed to protect tax dollars. They failed to check the qualifications of those doing the work in half the contracts. They failed to even verify that work was done. Unbelievably, the Trudeau ministers responsible for Arrive got promoted and have now been put in charge of critical Canada-US foreign affairs and jobs files. Why did the Prime Minister reward these failed Trudeau Liberals instead of holding them accountable for their incompetence? This is a critical point. Despite winning the election, Mark Carney's cabinet selections, while having some new faces, largely feature familiar ones. Questions are rightly being raised. Why are Melanie Joly, Christian Freeland, Anita Anand, Sean Fraser, and others all back in prominent positions? These ministers, in the eyes of many, were rewarded for past failures. As Pierre Poilievre succinctly put it, "There's no one better at failing up than him and some of the other Liberals." And that seems to be precisely what's happening. While Carney tries to deflect by saying, "Canada did vote for it," I stand by my conviction that Canada will come to regret this decision. Time will tell. The Prime Minister then reiterated his government's focus. "Mr. Speaker, this government, Canada's new government, is focused on best value for taxpayers' dollars. We are running a process to review our programs. We are running a process to focus on results for Canadians, not dollars. We are running a process to integrate technology. We are running a process to get best value for the largest increase in defence spending in history, making up for the failures of the members opposite, failures of the old government." His claim of failures of the members opposite, while conveniently sidestepping the past Liberal government's own record on military spending, is deeply ironic. And let's not forget, Mark Carney himself was an advisor to the previous Trudeau government. It's a truly wild situation. I eagerly await the day Pierre Poilievre returns to office. Many will be upset, not because they think he's a loser, but because they genuinely fear him. They understand deep down that despite all the negative media portrayals and the Trump thing, Poilievre still garnered 41% of the vote. The NDP is unlikely to collapse in the next election. Their next leader, I can confidently say, will be more competent than Jagmeet Singh. My dead cat is more competent, for crying out loud. Those votes are likely to be siphoned from the Liberals, potentially causing ridings to swing back to the NDP, leaving the Liberal Party perhaps in the low 30s. If the Conservatives can simply hold their base, the path to victory becomes clear. While recent polls might suggest a slight dip in Poilievre's support, it's crucial to remember that he's not currently in Parliament. Many who support him are currently discouraged by the election results, contemplating leaving Canada, or even advocating for Alberta's separation. These are the frustrated, often conservative-leaning voters who felt their voices weren't heard in the last election. However, once Mark Carney inevitably makes missteps and polls begin to shift towards the Conservatives, many will return. They will realise that the idea of separation isn't as straightforward as some believe, and that the best path forward for Canada might indeed be a Conservative government. I understand the discouragement many on the Conservative side feel right now, but a resurgence is possible. I want to hear from you. What do you think about the 56% of Canadians who believe the country is in decline? And what are your thoughts on Conservative MP Mark Strahl's performance? I've never featured him before, but I thought he did an excellent job. Please let me know in the comments below. And once again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Canadian Express. It genuinely helps our channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.